So guys, now let us start with the dynamic NAT. So recall that in static NAT, the user or the administrator has to explicitly specify the real and mapped IP address. That is, in static NAT, there was one-on-one mapping, right? User has to specify that IP address 1, which is a private IP address or real IP address, has to be mapped to public IP address IP2. All right. In dynamic NAT, the situation is slightly different. Users specify the real IP address pool and mapped IP address pool. So you can see in this diagram, in dynamic NAT, the user has to configure a set of IP address, which is referred to as real IP address pool. And in this pool, we configure a set of private IP addresses. And then user has to configure mapped IP address pool. It is a set of IP addresses which the organization has purchased from its internet service provider. And this set contains all the public IP addresses which organization has purchased, right? So there are two sets. Number of elements in the two sets need not be same. They can be different. So when the user has created real IP address pool and mapped IP address pool, and let's say that the user has configured a dynamic NAT. So any IP packet going from inside to outside, that is in this direction, may exchange its real source address with any available mapped address, right? So let's say the packet is going from inside direction to outside direction, and let's say that the packet has a source address which is 10.0.0.2. Now due to dynamic NAT, this firewall will replace the source address in the packet from 10.0.0.2 with any of the mapped IP address available in the mapped IP pool. So let's say it has picked up 100.0.0.4. So the IP packet that will go from inside to outside of this firewall device will have source address equal to 100.0.0.4 instead of 10.0.0.2, right? So this is just a dynamic NAT. Why we are saying it a dynamic? Because we leave this decision to the device that it can pick up any of the available mapped IP addresses present in the mapped IP pool to replace the original source address of the packet going from inside to outside. That is the reason that it is dynamic, right? And any IP packet which is going from inside to outside will be dropped if there is no mapped address available in the mapped IP address pool. So let's say that all the IP addresses that is specified in the mapped IP address pool has already been mapped with some real IP addresses present in the real IP address pool, and there is no mapped IP addresses which is available in the mapped IP address pool anymore. So in that case, the packet will be dropped, right? Because the device cannot perform network address translation on that packet because the mapped IP address is not available anymore. So dynamic NAT is used in the scenarios where an organization allows its employees to access external public servers in a controlled way. For example, an organization wants that not more than its 10 employees, which are working in its private network, can download files from an external public FTP server at the same time. So at the same time is a key. An organization do not want to put a lot of pressure on its internal network infrastructure if all its employees wishes to download certain file from an external FTP server, right? It will be too much, it can put too much strain on the intranet of the XYZ organization. So in the next lecture video, we will going to visualize a real world example where dynamic NAT is exercised.